All right, what is up, Leo? Welcome to your vibe check. This is for the Leo Collective. You could watch this if you've got Leo Sun, Leo, Moon, Rising. You could also watch for your Venus placements or just any other placements where you have a very strong Leo placement. And yeah, let's get right into it. Let's see what's happening for you guys, Leos. We're kind of just looking at what is like the overall theme of your reading, like your month, your week, whenever you find this. All right. So let's get into it for Leo. This is for the Leo Collective. This is for Leo. All right. Oh, look at that. Love it. So, Leo, you're being represented by your own sun sign vibration. Leo, that's awesome. That doesn't happen very often, but it's happening for you. So that's awesome. I love this. I love this energy for you. Your own energy is opening up your own reading. That's pretty darn good. But let's see if we can get another one. Well, they want me to get going. They're excited for this, but we'll do one more still. But this is amazing. I feel like, Leo, you are just shining bright. I feel like you're shining bright. I feel like this is always a very good omen. It's a good sign. Like when your own vibration sort of opens up the energy, it means that your energy is very strong. Your vitality is very strong and very potent at this particular time of coming across this reading. So I just love this for you. I just really see this as just being in your truth, being in your true authentic self, and just being very high vibrational at this, particular point in time. This energy also represents the fifth house. It represents the house of intimacy, like, fun, bedroom intimacy. It represents child making. It represents, children. And I feel like you could be in, I want to say a season, but maybe a season is too long. But it may be a season, but you're just going through a little spell of time. And that may be a month, 2 months, or 3 months, where you're just really feeling just really amazing about yourself. And you could be feeling especially very flirty, or you may just be your body. I'm also feeling like maybe you are getting in shape, or you've really maybe, you know, gotten in shape. Something about the summer as well, like maybe you've gotten your summer body, or you've maybe changed something about the way you dress, or I feel like you are kind of doing something that something is in conjunction. Like I feel like something is coming together in a way that facilitates a positive change that you've been trying to implement in your life. Um, and some of this may already have started during Cancer season, which now we're in, at the time of this recording, we're in Gemini season. So maybe something may be happening for you during Cancer season where something it comes into conjunction that kind of facilitates like something that you've been trying to make manifest for yourself, whether, it's just your dream body, or an area of your life that you've just been wanting to improve. Like for some of you, maybe this could be you could be giving birth during Leo season, or becoming pregnant maybe during Leo season, or giving birth during that time, because we're also dealing with children here, right? During this season, somebody's name may be Leo. I know that's very cliche, but I don't know what that's about. But I'm also getting something like that. But I just love this energy. I just, Leo is also something that, apart from just describing the wonderful, amazing attributes that Leo people possess and have, this also is something about being bold, being strong. I'm almost here being shown in my mind, the strength card. So I feel like also maybe you could be stepping in a season in your life where you are just presenting yourself more boldly, more stronger, more courageous, more braver. You could be just wearing very bold colors, very daring colors, like just really like being the center of attention in a very good way, right? Um, is really what I'm getting here. But in addition to that, also the Leo energy represents truth. It represents like things, also coming into light, right? Because we've got the moon vibration, which represents a lot of things happening in our psyche, in our psychology, in the dark, things that are hidden. But whenever you've got the sun vibration, we're talking about the sun sort of really illuminating something, right? And so you could also be in this period at the time of watching this, maybe coming into just a lot of realizations about yourself or about people around you, that the sun is just shedding more light on something that maybe you were curious about or something that you were praying about, because that's what the sun does. The sun sort of like it shines lights, and everything that was hidden, everything that was trying to creep away, it's like you can see it, right? It's almost like, I want to say, like almost like the veil being lifted in a way. And this could be a good thing for you, like if you've maybe had certain blocks in your life when it comes to like relationships or friendships, and you were never really able to tell like why you have certain blocks or certain restrictions in your life. Maybe at the time of finding this reading and moving forward, you are going to begin to find that certain things are going to be made clear for you. Like you will maybe just start to see signs align for you, or people will start to say certain things to you that will start to connect the dots for you, and you'll be like, oh, I never realized that this was the thing, and now I see how this one thing connects to that other thing, and that's why that person behaved the way they did, or that's why this relationship didn't work, or that's why, so something like that. I'm kind of getting that something is going to be illuminated and made more clearer for you. Could be during Leo season, or it could be just at the time of you finding this finding this reading. Leo, it is also very important for you to just take time. I feel like some of you are very impatient, and some of you are so fierce. Like this Leo energy, some of you could be so or like, I want to say, use the word stubborn, but not in a like an offensive way, but just you could be so fixated, because Leo is actually it's a fixed sign, and it is a fire sign. So I feel like you guys have a lot of passion and a lot of fierceness to you guys, right? Very competitive, very determined to get results, to be, the leader of the pack. Like you guys, just like Aries, you guys also want to be at the top. You want to be at the top. You want to be, the center of attention for all the right reasons if you are evolved. But it could also be the other way around. If you are an unevolved, Leo, you may be wanting to be the center of attention for all the wrong reasons, right? So you kind of have to just kind of check with that and see on which side of the, interpretation you fall. And that's interesting that that's now coming up, because maybe this is also something that God is trying to highlight to you, that if you find yourself maybe being the center of attention for all the wrong reasons, you kind of maybe want to start to find out, like, okay, but why is it like that, right? So you may be a Leo that maybe also you thrive on drama or controversies. If you are vibrating or resonating more with a dark-sided interpretation of this meaning, right? All those things could also be true, right? But there is no indication yet that that's what they're referencing, but it's just a side note, right? But you make with that how you interpret it or how it comes across. Although for the overwhelming vibration or energy I'm picking up is mostly like a very positive, a positive one. You speak very well. You could also be somebody who communicates very well. You speak very well. People may love that about you. Maybe something about the way you may be a storyteller. I'm picking up also like you could be a storyteller, a narrator, maybe a journalist, but or a retired journalist where, or you maybe have done some journalism and then you maybe transitioned into storytelling, narrating. Maybe you read audiobooks or you deal with audiobooks, or something about audiobooks also could be quite significant. Or you are a scholar, but I'm kind of picking up in a very fun way. So or maybe editor-in-chief for a newspaper, or editor-in-chief for a magazine for women, or something like that. Or but there is something about the way you communicate or the way you speak which is very artsy or dramatic, right? So you could be a very dramatic storyteller, fictional romance, something like that is coming up for somebody here. Um, you see? Communication, right? So something about somebody here who communicates very well. They may have, again, they want me to repeat it, like you may have been initially like a journalist, or you may have been a scholar, a teacher maybe, but I'm picking up more like a journalist, right? But and then you transitioned into something more kinder, more softer, like storytelling. Maybe you write books for kids, or you write romantic fictional like stories or books, or you're an editor at a woman's book, or something to that nature is coming up. And also excursions here is important, because that excursion in the case of this person who is being highlighted, the excursion may actually come in the form of written or communication, right? So you write about dramatic adventures or dramatic romance, or like something that combines art and intellect and passion and education, is something that somebody does really well here. But a great communicator, a great speaker, people may love the tone of your voice, or people may love your charisma, like the way you communicate is something that you do really well. This again is also represented by the third house, which ironically it is also the house of Gemini, and you may have a Gemini ascendant or Gemini rising, and then again we have Gemini sun here too, just confirming again that you could be a Leo person who's very wordy or very witty or humorous. Something else that's now also coming out, you could be a comedian, a stand-up comedian, so very quick with your words, very smart, very, you just know how to say the right things, the jokes and everything like that. But you may have like a journalistic, background, and then you stop doing journalism, or something like that is coming up. And I don't know why it's coming up. Maybe this is just for you to it's like an acknowledgement, perhaps, is what I'm getting here for that one person. I think it's a woman. Now they're shifting in another person. Here now I'm also they want me to go back to the communication, the thing we talked about, where there could be for one or two of you, the thing they were referring to about if you are a Leo person that thrives in drama, like if you are somebody who like you like to be the center of attention but for all the wrong reasons. This is also something that is being challenged for you. This is an invitation for you, in the sense that, like, if you're somebody who resonates with that more darker interpretation, that maybe the way you communicate could be hurtful to others, or the way that you conduct yourself, because Leos take up so much space because their energy is just so intense and potent, and it's also fixed, like meaning that it's very headstrong or very stubborn, how you want to look at it. And so if you're fixated on an idea or like an opinion, sometimes it's hard to be moved. Other people may present logic or may try and say, whoa, maybe you want to tone that down a little bit, or like, but then you may be just like very headstrong. to a point where it may be disruptive to the group harmony or to the work harmony or to the organizational dynamics or harmony, is something that is being brought up here for someone in the Leo collective as well. And so there's no judgment on my part. However, just really getting what my guides are showing me, and that they're really just clarifying everything that they were saying before this card came out. But honestly, that this is also just an invitation for you to kind of reflect yourself. Like if you are resonating more with the positive aspects of it, or you're resonating more with the negative sides of it, and whether that's an opportunity for you to reflect on your way of being and see if there are certain areas you can improve on, right? Hence also we've got education here, so maybe self-education, self-development, to improve certain aspects of your communication that maybe may not be in alignment with where you want to be. Because also if you have that kind of reputation, or that that goes in the more negative side, like could also be difficult for you to aspire towards growth, because people may not like that. People may not like you for the reasons that you communicate more harshly, or maybe you are the center of attention for all the wrong reasons, right? So if you kind of maybe self-develop and look at things where you can improve certain aspects of your life, presents an opportunity for you to be more in the more positive vibration, so that kind of aligns you with where you want to make manifest or see blessings come forward for you, in terms of how you want to move forward in your development, right? Yes. What else? Yeah. Also, somebody, maybe there could be something with this is now another person where I'm hearing something about your lungs. So someone's lungs may be something that you want to maybe get checked. You maybe have certain activities or habits or things that you do that maybe puts your lungs at risk, maybe smoking, I don't know. But that's also something that is like a small insight that I'm being told to share. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what I'm getting here. They want me to do one more from this deck, so let's see. Let's pull one more from here for the Leo collective. But again, I just want to reinforce that for the majority of what I'm feeling is really positive, though, because you did still open your reading with your own sign, right? And that's a big one. It means that you are standing in your true, authentic Leo energy self, right? So, yeah. So all the other stuff is just an opportunity to kind of think, because we all could have certain parts of ourselves to, to develop, to do better. There's always room for improvement, right? It's basically what I'm trying to get at. But for the most part, I want to say that this is a very positive situation. See, we've got Mars here at the top of the deck, and Mars represents our actions. And then you pulled in Scorpio Moon. Basically, this just confirms maybe the more darker side of the things that they were talking about. It may actually be true for one or two or three of you. and you just want to take it as an opportunity to just see what areas of your life you can, you know, try to improve on. Because Scorpio, I mean, the great thing is it gives you a great intuition. It gives you a great intuition if you're looking at it from a more positive, perspective. It gives you really, really great intuition, a very sharp intuition. But intuition is very different from, like, let's say if you had Pisces in here, you would still be very intuitive and perceptive, but in a very different kind of way, a very Neptunian kind of way. But when you have the Scorpio here in the moon, your intuition functions a little bit quite dark. So because Scorpio is a very, it's ruled by the eighth house, which is the house of psychology, especially dark psychology, maybe even magic, witchcraft, all of that stuff, right? May fall in the eighth house. And Scorpio itself really just dives really deep in those waters. It will take you to the bottom of the ocean. If you don't know how to swim, you may just be left out there drowning. It's not quite surface like Pisces, and I don't mean that Pisces is surface level, but I mean like the vibration of Pisces may seem rather on top of the water, kind of just going with the waves, whereas the Scorpio is more really deep, deep down there at the bottom of the ocean, right, where there's debris. When you think of all of the stuff that people, that the things that gets thrown in the ocean, the ships that have sunk there, the souls and the spirits that have, unfortunately, their lives were taken away through, let's say, an example like the Titanic, that sunk, right? And all of those bodies that were dragged to the bottom of the ocean, those souls, those spirits, and everything else that gets thrown into the dark depths of the ocean, that for me represents that Scorpio intuition. You may even see visions, like dark dreams or dark visions or dark, just like you may be so connected to the world, but in a very dark way, right? And it's important, they're saying to me, to highlight this, because this is maybe where this other aspect comes in, where to the other person who Spirit was showing me that you could be a dramatic writer or like a fictional writer, or because what I want to say, I'm kind of getting the same vibration as was the lady who wrote Harry Potter, right? Something like that, right? Like where you can sort of write like stories like that, or tell stories like that, or narrate stories like that, because you're able to see into like the really dark side of like humanity, right? And you then take that knowledge, or you take those impressions, and you are able to put it in artwork that is palatable and understandable or relatable to the masses, right? Like the way that J.K. Rowling was able to, however she was able to source that information, right? I don't know. But the way that she was able to receive those intuitive downloads and turn them into a novel, or that series of the Harry Potter, like the Harry Potter books, right? And was able to write that story in a way that was still dramatic and exciting, but still yet, connecting to the dark depths of our humanity, right? So I feel like this is like for somebody who your vibration kind of functions like this, and if you are like a Leo person who's very evolved, you're able to handle that, you're able to handle this, and you do it very well through communication. Again, as they were saying, you write those novels, those stories, very dramatic, fictional stuff. But I'm also seeing that for the other person who, if you feel that the more negative or shadowy side of the reading resonates with you, this may scare you, right? So for some of you, maybe you're scared of your feelings, or you're scared of your emotions. And then maybe this then results in emotional manipulation, or it presents itself in a way that people may interpret you as a narcissist or as attention seeking or drama loving, or because you may be battling this big bold outwardly personality with another big bold inner world that's dark and heavy. And you may have visions, or you may come across people on the bus, on the train, in the malls, at work, and you just have very heavy intuitive impressions of them. Maybe you may be connecting to somebody's lost ancestors while you're sitting on a bus. Or you could be somewhere just enjoying your lunch, and someone walks in the restaurant, and you are sensing their ancestors, or you are sensing just like really, really heavy energies from people. And then you may not know what to do with that, right? This is, now I'm speaking to the person if you are not fully evolved, or you function more in the negative vibration, that you may not know how to deal with that. And so the way that you express those things through your communication may come across to people as, oh, this Leo is very self-centered, they're rude, they're boisterous, they're inconsiderate, or they're a narcissist, or they're manipulative, or so I'm kind of getting a dichotomy like that here for another set of person, right? And so this is why my guides are bringing this for you as an opportunity for you to maybe see it as an invitation to assess certain aspects of your life and see where you can improve. If you're somebody who you have been afraid of your feelings or your emotions, and it shows in the way you communicate, and that expression presents itself in the typical Leo fashion of being loud and boisterous and dramatic, and then it's about going back to the root cause of, why did I behave the way that I do? My actions, Mars, right? Why did I behave the way that I do, or the way that I did, or you, if we're talking about you, and how do I fix it so that I can handle this, communicate it better, and then it's perceived in my energy appropriately, right? Does that make sense? But this is only for the person who they've not matured, or they've not fully evolved in terms of their dark side, or their shadow self. However, though, as I was saying earlier, the vast majority of the energy I'm getting represents a more evolved Leo who has mastered these processes, and they have this ability through the Scorpio moon, and they're able to marry or unify this strong presence with their strong sun vibration of being bold, brave, outspoken, communicative, leader, and they communicate it in such a way that can be dramatic, but it has a flair, right? That journalistic thing, that writer thing, that storyteller thing that they were alluding to earlier before both these cards arrived, right? So this is just like confirmation for you, Leo. But I love this message for you. I just want to start to wrap it up because the video is getting too long. So let's see how the tarot adds a new aspect to it, or if it clarifies anything for the Leo collective. Ooh, all right. Yeah. So you have the Hangman over here, then you have the Two of Swords, right? And this is the perspective. This is your choice, right? Because the Hangman is a different perspective. It is really Spirit saying, we have shared with you what we feel you needed to hear at this particular time of you finding this reading. again, repeatedly, it is about you choosing which perspective resonates with you, which perspective makes sense for you, right? And then you are the one who has to make that decision for yourself. And that's why the Two of Swords is there, right? Remember when we started the reading earlier on, at the very beginning, and I was also saying that something is going to happen, right? God is going to present people. I may be one of those people through this reading, or other readers, or other people in your external reality, where they're going to say things, or they're going to show you things, or they're just going to, things that will enlighten you, right? Because remember earlier I was talking about how the sun illuminates, how the sun brings clarity. It presents an opportunity for you to see things for, oh, I thought that this was because of this reason, but now I actually know that this outburst was because of this other reason, right? So it's like God will put you in a position in your season, or at the time of you finding this reading, where a lot of things will be made clear to you, right? And this is what the hangman represents. And as you can see, the sun energy, right, is illuminating their thoughts, their perspective, as they are in this hangman position, right? And then you get to see or not see, right? Because they've got the blindfold on, right? But she's holding two swords up in the air, right? The swords are not, they're still held up in the air, so a decision has not been made. Nothing is final, right? But she's pondering two options, two thoughts, two perspectives. And I feel like this is what they were illuminating to, right? Also notice the moon vibration in the background. Also notice the water in the background, and the analogy of the water that they were talking about, and that I was being told to share with you about the water and the depth of the water, and how the water represents our emotions and feelings and all of the things that can get lost in the depths of the water. But if you are on the surface level, you will never know, right? But if you choose to introspect and take a deeper plunge and take a deeper look into your feelings, into your emotions, it presents you an opportunity to make better decisions based on your feelings and emotions, moon vibration. All right? And these are swords of air vibration. So again, this is speaking to that communication as well, the intellect, right? So it's like once you master your emotions, your feelings, you work through your moon vibration or your shadow sides, your intellect also changes, the way you communicate also changes, and the decisions that you make also changes. And then this puts you in alignment with regard to how your life trajectory then, proceeds forward, right? I hope that makes sense. Like, yeah, I really do. But I thought that this, for me, definitely makes a lot of sense. And I love how my guides were able to just put everything together, present the cards the way that they did, because I feel like it really just, all the cards were really in support of the message, even before they popped out. So I hope that also for you, Leo, that there's something here that helps you in your spiritual journey, in your growth journey. And thanks so much for staying watching. I always try to keep this under 20 minutes, but sometimes the message is just so important that I just have to keep going. So I apologize for the kind of lengthy video, but I hope that this helps you. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, take care.